Team will get started in like 2 minutes. Hope the audio and the screen is clear at this point. So team, welcome to this ISTQB foundation level certification training orientation session. So today we're going to give you a very high level overview of what is ISTQB is all about. What are the different certifications that are part of the ISTQB, and exclusively like what is this foundational level. I mean, as it named, this is the foundation for any other certifications that you may want to achieve. I'll show you the hierarchy, how somebody can move forward in ISTQB. So like whether you wanted to do a advanced level architect, I mean basically analyst side, or you want to do a advanced level test manager side, or you wanted to go into agile management. For any of these, this is the foundation. So we're going to talk about all those different levels and why somebody should really think about ISTQB certifications, especially in this competitive world. So we're going to talk about some of those. But before that, let me just get a glimpse of from the audience as well. Like, how many of you have been through ISTQB previously, or how many of you know what is an ISTQB? A quick question, like just to get an idea, how many of you have familiar with ISTQB rather? I mean, definitely you might have heard, right? May not be very familiar, but you might have definitely heard. So, any of you are familiar with ISTQB? Heard of it? Yeah, as I was expected. Definitely you'll heard because a lot of people uh, either they go through or like attempting is like if seriously attempts. I can tell you from the experience that we have. I've been handling this for about 3 years now. I myself was certified in foundational as well as in advanced. In all, at least I would have handed around 6, 7 batches. I think precisely it's 7 batches. And in almost all the batches, the percentage of the people who certified is above 90%. That means if let's say 10 people were attended, definitely except 1 or 2 people, remaining all got certified. So that's the detailed training that we're going to go through. And I'm again, if you guys are serious, and the remaining 2 people could be mostly from their side in terms of like initially they thought of it so seriously, but they have not taken it so seriously as the days goes, or could be any other reasons. But if people are serious, I'm trying to challenge myself and ensure this time we're going to have 100% all the people get certified, because that's the detailed content that we are going to go through, and that's the kind of exercises kind of at the end of every chapter we're going to go through an exam, and at the end of the course I'll be conducting 3 grand mock tests. Those are, and then I'll be sharing with you a set of 500 it's a I would say questions and answers, and if you can really do all this, you will be definitely certified. So there's no chance that you'll miss out. So that's a kind of challenge that I'm trying to take myself as well. And let's see how it goes. So as most of you saying, you just heard about ISTQB, right? Yeah. So let's look at, so this is the main website from where you can get all the details. You can just say istqb.org. So the kind of, it stands for International Software Testing Qualifications Board. Again, as the name says, it's international. There was misconception around some time back, at least not now, before 5, 6 years back, that it was only in Europe and it's kind of valid only in UK. So that kind of misconception was there. But let me tell you, it is internationally recognized, worldwide recognized, uh, testing certifications. So, and a lot of people these days, I've seen the trend in which, like, as soon as they achieve the certification, they're going updating in their LinkedIn profile. saying that, hey, so I made this or I have achieved this. So you can actually build your career step by step with along with the trainings that certifications and any other automation training that you go through. You start building your profile in the LinkedIn, which is going to add a lot of value. So this is about International Software Testing Qualifications Board, and what do they do? Like, what is their vision and mission? If you look into their vision and mission, basically they wanted to kind of, this is a vision, defining and maintaining a body of knowledge which allows testers to be certified based on the best practices. As I kind of, I'm not sure how many of you watched the 3-minute video that I have shared some time back. Testing, everybody's think that it's identifying the defects in the software. And if you think it is by accident, or if you think it is a random testing or ad hoc testing, it's not true. It is a very, very systematic step-by-step process to identify the hidden bugs in your software. Unless you know all these steps step by step, unless you understand these things step by step, you cannot really be finding, at least, I mean, finding all the defects. I don't think it's possible. I strongly believe even the softwares that we are using day to day in our day to day life still have bugs, but you can eliminate the majority of the bugs, the maximum amount of the bugs, if you go in a systematic process. But if you just do some error guessing, or if you know, yeah, I know this is the area where my developer was struggling it, so let me spend some time and identifying the defects, that's not going to work out. That may work out in scenarios where you do not have sufficient time, but if you have given a sufficient time of amount of testing, it has to be a step-by-step process. So basically defining and maintaining a body of knowledge which allows the testers to be certified based on the best practices, so that's most important. And connecting the international software testing community, so once you get certification, you will be part of this community, and you can exchange your ideas. You can, post your questions, get I mean, kind of answers from the experts on the other side. So that's more is the vision for them, and encouraging to do a research on that. Obviously, their mission is something like this: we promote the value of software testing. We help software testers to be more efficient and effective in their work, and continuously advance the testing body of knowledge, set the criteria for accrediting training providers. It's a group of people came together and started, but now it's internationally recognized. And so in terms of even creating a faster relationship with academia, government, media professionals, etc. So these are some of their vision and mission, and kind of what is a value that you can see. So when you, by doing this certification, you will have, like, definitely, as I saying, you will have a more of professional way of doing the things, and you will be part of the continuous learning, get to even hear the openness feedback from the set of people that you're going to work. So so all those things are, I mean, it's, there is something called psychology of testing. So you'll go through really the understanding how we should be part of a team culture, how we should be part of overall software engineering team. So otherwise, generally, people who do not go through this, I have seen this is happening. People kind of, when they find the bugs, they celebrate it, and which is actually not a good thing. And the developers will try to reject most of the bugs, and that's when again there's a small, this kind of competition gets built. Sometimes it's not a very healthy competition, and it gets into a different direction altogether. The people who go through this ISTQB certifications training, they know the psychology of testing, how we should behave, what we should behave when we find a defect. So all those kind of things we're going to go through. And some of the facts and figures of, like, till now they have conducted, how many people have administered, number of certifications that have been issued, and recently they have started with agile testing certifications as well, since 2017. So that is kind of increasing the number there. And these are some of the numbers, basically. Number of board members, as of now, they have 58 members. And the number of countries that are directly delivered, these are like 82 countries in which the countries which are directly covered. And you can also get into all the details of who are the global exam providers. Um, till now, how many countries in which the ISTQB certification activities have been taken place. It's like almost 120 countries. And there are about certified training providers, but again, I can tell you we're nowhere less than that. And the kind of exam certification fees is also very less. We'll see from each country. You may be from different parts of the world, so I'll show you for different countries where you should look the fees and everything. So if you also want to understand a little bit more about the history, you can actually look into it. It started somewhere in like 1998 as ISEB, Information Systems Examination Board, but in 2002 is being kind of renamed into ISTQB, and 2003, 2004, how they have changed the examination structure. The most important about the foundational level training is that, which they have not updated here, it's not a good idea, but the syllabus went through a change in the 2018, the current year which we are talking about. So the whole course content and the examination that we are going to cover it here is based on the latest syllabus, that is 2018. It's just few months back, the syllabus has been modified for 2018. So it's totally latest and advanced. Before this, it went through some time in 2015, I guess. Yeah. And if you wanted to get a little more about the ISTQB, you can download this. So we'll also spend a few minutes there. So you'll understand from here basically what is the benefits of this. So this is I hope you all can hear me good, right? I just got a warning saying there may be a degraded in the audio quality. Okay, so it's a non-profit organization founded in 2002. It's headquartered in Belgium, has its own constitution, rules and regulations, and it's a volunteer of international testing experts, and it is responsible for all the ISTQB certifications worldwide. Okay, so that's their motto, and you can go through some of these sample videos that are available later. This is their vision, as I've been told you, and this is their mission, their values. So this is like it's a community at the large. So you will first, they generally do a general assembly every year, and frequently the group members, board members will meet as frequently as every month or fortnight. And there are some working groups and member boards, training providers and exam bodies. Certified professionals can also be part of these forums to give the feedback and everything. And they also kind of tie up with software development companies and end user companies, which are like ISTQB partners. And then they will come up also tie up with the tools developers, academia, public administrations, and then you have a community at the large. So the advantage of is once you get certified, you can be part of this community. So this is the ISTQB member board, training provider, certified tester, and exam provider. So you can be a volunteer once you get certified. Okay, so let's look at some of the interesting facts. These are some of the benefits that you will get as once you get certified. For example, um, experienced testing teams. When you're going to work into a testing team, there is a as much as chance that you may be already working, right? You may be already working, but you'll definitely see around 10 to 12% of improvement the way you're going to work with an experienced teams, and you will see the certified professionals will be definitely considered. I mean, since you go through all the pain and in a very step by step, this is another important point why somebody should get certification. Whether you're already working or you're looking out for a job, and if let's say two people comes for an interview, this is an example that I always give, and if both are equally good, equally well and good in terms of the technical, they have went through written tests, they went through test cases round, they went through 2 to 3 technical rounds in terms of test planning and giving the scenarios, writing the test cases, went through process of defect management, all that they went through. Both are equally good. But then there is a kind of confusion to the hiring manager and to the company whom I should hire. Both are equally good. If one of them certified, I can challenge. They'll simply go through because they'll take that person who is certified because there is a kind of a, that certification provides that guarantee mechanism to them that this process and this person went through these step-by-step process, and he understand the different levels of testing, he understand the different principles, he understands the psychology of testing, how to behave with the team when working as a team. So all that are going to be value adds, especially being certified. So that's main important thing. So benefits to the professional. So you will get an international recognition of acquired competencies and skills, and you are authorized to use this certified tester logo. So as I've been saying, you can use it in ISTQB logo in your profile. You can put it in your LinkedIn. You can put it everywhere. And obviously, the people who are not part of the certification cannot use this logo. And whole of career path support from foundation to experience level, again part of the forum, you will get that guidance. Higher appeal in the labor market, so that's exactly the same example which I've just talked about it. And to whom you would recommend this, who can take this exam, right? Ideally, so there are different levels. Let me show you this. This is one thing that you need to understand. The very first thing that happens with ISTQB is that anybody who wants to get certification, this is the foundational level. And this is what we are talking about right now. Once you get foundational level certification, then you can take different directions. You can be like, go to agile testing side. This is where the number that we saw in the 2017, there is a drastic increase of close to 15% people who are attempting to agile because of most of the companies have transformed from the classic waterfall method to the agile. So that's where we saw the jump there. But once you become foundational certified, then you can even go into any of these specializations like model-based tester, usability tester, automation tester, gambling industry tester, most like, hacker kind of stuff, mobile application tester, performance tester, acceptance testing. But that I would suggest after having the foundational level certification, you'll start working through, and while working through, depending on the type of the projects that you're getting it, you may be going to go specialized into automation, or you may be specialized into mobile application, or you may be specialized into acceptance testing. So then after working for an year or so, you feel that if I have a certification in that specification, that specialized area, then you'll understand because you already saw the benefits of having this certification, and now you'll start thinking about having the certifications in any of these while working. Then you can think about it because even though it's around roughly around I would say $60 to $70 is a fees, even then that is sufficient from a foundational level point of view. This I would suggest you to take it once you start working and once you see the benefits of the certification. Then we have, but for any of these, the foundational level is the main. After that, you can go into advanced level, which is technical side, advanced level into test manager side, test analyst side, technical test analyst side, and then we have advanced level security testing side, and then you can go into advanced level test automation engineer. So you are here as a foundational level, but now you wanted to, okay, some of them you can see they are in beta. So that means it's yet to come. It's not even there. And some of them are in development. For example, this usability tester, advanced acceptance testing. So that means the board is seriously thinking about them and they're trying to come up with the mechanism for the certification. So that's why they have put it into like beta is, you can expect very soon it's going to be available. So after that, you can think about advanced level, security tester, automation engineer kind of thing. And then you can think about expert level. So then comes the expert level. In expert level, again, we have test management and improving the test process. So these are the different certifications that are available. Some of them are already in place and some of them are in like development. Some of them are very close to releasing, that is like beta. So any questions on this? Just want to spend a few minutes on this and then we'll go back and understand more details about it. But for any of these, the first and foremost thing that you have to get is what we're talking about right now, the CTFL, the foundational level. Then only you can see all the arrows going to different directions. So the first and foremost thing is this. So any questions on this different levels of certification? Anyway, I'll give a good Q&A in the last 10 minutes, but just want to ensure. So, okay, there is a question. How hard to learn as compared to learn Selenium? No, this, okay, certification as right, it's like any other exam. It will be little dry. It's more like a content, but I'll try to make it as interesting as possible. And as I told you, at the end of every chapter, we'll do an exercise, we'll do a mock test. And at the end of all the chapters get over, we'll again do a grand mock test. And then I'll be sharing with you some good 500 plus questions and answers. With that, it will be an interesting and definitely this is more of a theoretical, conceptual, but we'll be discussing real-time examples like how it was or how it is. So that will help you to get it easily. And in my view, like as I told you, people who just take it seriously and spend few minutes, then you will be able to, apart from this session, if you are able to spend another 1 hour, in fact, if you can seriously dedicate another 45 days from now, achieving foundational level is very much possible. Okay, so who would you recommend? Who should actually go for it? And when it comes to the test engineers, right? Both test engineers and test managers are highly satisfied with these certifications and happy to recommend to their colleagues. So that is what it is. But the answer very straightforward to the question, like who can go? People who are at the beginner of their career and people who are like, I would say, 2 to 3 years of experience, up to 2 to 3 years of experience can, or even if you have more than 4 years, 5 years, but you see that the knowledge that you have needs to be refreshed, or you think definitely this certification is going to add value, so you can take up this CTFL training. And even if somebody is not working, they are the best people to start with CTFL training. And once you start working, then as I told you, you can think about advanced level or some of those specialized areas that are coming up very soon, like automation test engineer, acceptance test, you can think about them. But from a foundational level point of view, 0 to, I would say, 2 years up to 5 years is good enough for the people who wanted to take up this foundational level certification. Is that point clear? Who can take up this question? It's not only benefit to the individual. Again, like we talked about individually how benefit it is, right? We told that it is going to add value to my profile, and my profile can be like filtered very easily by the recruiters as well. And I'm going to add my logo into the profile, and I'm going to add my logo into LinkedIn and everywhere, and I'll be part of the community where I'll get to know the different openings, or I'll get to know different problems to solve. I'll get to know where the QA as a job family more, going towards. And there are set of people, it's not just me, there are some thousands of people who are into the forum who will exchange the best practices and the ideas. So those are the benefits to the individual. And also I told you when you're working as a team, how you're going to be different from a non-certified people. But then why a companies look for it? Like what are the benefits for the companies and why they prefer to hire certified people? ISTQB certification provide a competitive advantage for companies, promising a higher level of reliability of the applications being developed due to efficient and cost-effective test practices. Companies would prefer certified people because, again, for the same reason that they went through these as part of the learning curve, they went through as part of the experts' decisions from the forums. So obviously they know that they are going to use cost-effective testing processes compared to a non-certified professional. And they also know that I mean, a lot of people going to promote to their clients and say, you know what, so we're going to have two certified ISTQB certified people as part of this project. And let's say total team is about 5 people, and then we have like one ISTQB certified person. So they're going to promote your profile as well like that. So that's the kind of advantage even for the companies to have. That's why people they'll prefer to have somebody certified. Consulting companies with certified staff can offer higher level services to customers, increasing revenues and brand value. Obviously, in terms of the salary, in terms of the per hour wages, everything will be a little different for the certified people. ISTQB has defined a partner. Sorry,
Sorry, that's me. Shankar, go.
hey Karthik. Cool. So it also provides a partner, it defined a partner program in the industry for companies that engage there, during the ISTQB scheme as well. So these are some of the, I mean, as you can see, there are certified more as a test manager also. Like we can talk about it, but that's a little later. So these are the benefits to the companies as well, apart from the individual, how you're going to benefit from the program. All right, so these are some of the strong reasons that why somebody should think about the certification. Okay, let's go into more about the examination point of view, like what is the syllabus that what we're going to have, and then we'll talk about even the number of questions. So we saw from the picture level, so at high level you can consider the program into 3 levels: foundational level, advanced level, and expert level. And there are some things on the core, agile, etc. And this is the same picture that we just saw on the website. So coming to the ISTQB foundational level, right? So this is the syllabus. As you can see here, the total program has been divided into 6 chapters, and there is a clear recommendation from the ISTQB, like how many hours one should spend in learning of these topics. It's each topic wise, chapter wise, they have given how many hours you have to spend. Of course, the basic material, the required basic material is also available from them, but you won't find a lot of questions and answers. You will find some sample questions and answers. That is where we are going to help you. That is where we'll go into more detailed training, more detailed, kind of mock tests. Obviously, when you are doing the test for the very first time, I mean, that's one of the confusion with all the multiple, it's all multiple choice questions and there is no negative marking, but still a lot of people get confused because almost all the 4 answers you will feel are corrective answers. So, and then your skill, unless you really apply all the 4 answers to the question, you won't be able to find out what is the correct one. I mean, the moment if you just read out only one answer, you'll feel, oh, this is a correct answer. And if you don't read the remaining 3, then you're actually doing a mistake. So the exam recommends you to choose the best one out of, like, sometimes you'll definitely have more than one matching to the question. So you have to choose the best one. So that's where the confusion starts. And that's where we are going to eliminate all those confusions while learning it. So when it comes to the fundament, the very first chapter is all about fundamentals of testing. So we're going to understand like why is testing important or why is testing necessary. Then we're going to understand what is testing is all about, the 7 testing principles, which are very, very important for anybody should apply while doing the testing, and the fundamental test process. And the other one is the psychology of testing. Like I told you, how you're going to behave in the overall software engineering team, and I see practically people certified versus non-certified, the kind of psychology, the kind of the way they behave in the team is going to be very different. So we're going to understand the psychology of testing and code of ethics, what kind of ethics that you have to follow as a software test engineer. So this is the very first chapter, and a lot of fundamentals will be covered. A lot of terminologies. ISTQB is again is going to define lots of terminologies which are going to be practically used in your day-to-day life. For example, when somebody finds a problem, right? Somebody calls it as a, oh, I found a defect. Somebody calls, I found a bug. Somebody calls, I found an issue. And somebody says, I found an error. So there are very different terminologies. And we're going to learn each of these in detail with an example, when you should call it as an error, when you should call it as a defect, when you should call it as a bug, or when you should call it as an issue. And you'll go through like what is a triaging process, defect triaging process, and what kind of information that you have to provide while you're logging a defect. Of course, some parts that you might be already knowing, but this is going to definitely give you all the details that are required to be a professional tester. So that's the first chapter we're going to talk about, and then we'll get into something called testing throughout the software lifecycle. So there is a misconception again. People generally, without having this kind of experience, even the managers will do this mistake that they load the people, they load the testers very close to the testing phase, and as soon as the testing completes, they'll try to again put them into a different project. But here we're going to understand why somebody or a tester should be part of throughout the software development lifecycle, right from requirement analysis stage, and why they should be part of the design, why they should be part of the prototype, why they should be part of the development, testing, user acceptance testing, and even while during the production deployments as well. Like I used to be part of all the production deployments, even though when I was test engineer, because they see that value add when during the production deployment, if something goes wrong, the testers can help us in troubleshooting the issue very quickly. So that's where you should, really gain the kind of confidence with the team that you should be automatically be available in all the phases of the life cycle. Not like, okay, we just need them during the testing phase, and as soon as the testing is completed, we should offload. So that's not the kind of dependency that we should create. And ISTQB very well explains that why you should be part of all the different levels of testing, and why somebody should think about. We are going to talk about the different software development life cycles, not just the core agile, which is so popular, but there are companies still doing the mini waterfall kind of methodology. So we'll talk about the different methodologies, and then we'll talk about the different levels, that close to 35 different testing techniques that we're going to talk about. And then we'll talk about what is maintenance testing. And a lot of people, when I say testing, they'll generally think of the dynamic testing. But before you get into the dynamic testing, there is a good amount of static testing that we need to perform. And when it comes to the practical, it's very, very less, but there's a lot of advantages of doing that. So we're going to understand what is static testing technique, and what is a static testing practice that we should do, and what is a review. Every deliverable that comes to us, be it a requirements document, be it a design document, be it somebody else will write a test plan and ask you to review because you are a certified. So be the test plan or a test strategy, or even somebody thinks that you are a subject matter expert in one of the area and they'll ask you to review the test cases. Anything that is something that you're not going to test it, like anything that you're not going to really validate it, basically what you're going to do is something called verify. That process we call it as static testing technique. Things like review, things like walkthroughs, things like inspections. Again, all these are like very, very important techniques. And there is a process why somebody should, how somebody should conduct a review, how somebody should conduct a inspection, walkthrough. So we're going to talk about all of those in the static testing technique. And even from a developer's point of view, when they write the code, there are a lot of people do mistakes like creating a lot of objects but not destroying them once they're done with the done with the object, creating a lot of variables but not using them. So for them also there are some static analysis tools. So we're going to talk about them. Before they do the unit testing, before the check in the code, they have to run these static analysis tools, which will give immediately a couple of wrong things that they are doing in the code. It will kind of list out these are the defects in the system that they have to fix it out immediately. Once they fix it, then only they have to check in the code. So we'll talk about those static analysis tools, and then we'll get into the testing design techniques, like what is a test development process, the categories of different test design techniques. We're going to talk about black box testing techniques, white box testing techniques. We'll also talk about experience-based testing techniques. And then, when you have these many techniques, how do you go about choosing the right technique for your project? It's not that all the techniques are applicable for all the projects, but they are there. I mean, as a foundational level ISTQB certified tester, you will understand all of them, and then you will have a also way to choose them. You will have an experience of choosing what is the right technique for the right project. Today, somebody might tell you just go and do some functional testing, and you may be performing. Somebody says you should also think about security testing. Then you will really trying to struggle or go through something on the internet. What is security? Then you are not even sure whether that technique is applicable for this project or not. Those kind of some of those confusions will take away from you when you go through this whole program. And also thinking from when I say test management, it doesn't mean like a test manager, but as a test engineer, how do you manage about your own testing organization? Maybe you are the only member, and maybe there are a couple of other folks in the team. How do you work with the team? How do you do your test planning and estimation? How do you do this test progress monitoring and control? You should understand about the overall. We're calling something called CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment. So, how do you understand these configuration management softwares? How do you understand these version controlling softwares, automation tools, and then how do you talk about the deployment process? So, understanding all of that. And risk-based testing is which is another very popular thing that we are talking in today's world. It's not that every time you will have a same amount of time or a sufficient amount of time to perform all kinds of testing. There are a lot of times you have to take a risk-based judgment, that let's say you have some 1,000 test cases, but you don't have time to run all those 1,000 test cases. So then you're going to pick up something which are like a risk-based testing. And then you'll also think understanding about incident management. When certain incidents happens during the project lifecycle, how you're going to take the corrective decisions. So that is going to be part of, like, you yourself considered as a test lead, how you're going to lead the whole project, how you're going to manage this whole testing process individually without really dependent much on other people. But again, that is going to be very different for a non-certified test engineer, because he may be very much dependent on his lead or a manager to take the decisions, whereas you propose the things, what should do, how we should do. And there are different tools that helps in the overall software testing, and some of you already attended a couple of automation testing tools as well, or a couple of automation testing tools. So I'm not just talking about automation, but there are tools related to the application lifecycle management, we are calling, right from requirements to the defect management, configuration management, defect management. The overall complete lifecycle management is being tracked under one tool, so that the traceability from a particular user story to a test case to a defect, also a test case to an automation, everything is tracked. So like because everything needs to be under traceable, so that if there is something goes wrong, we know which test case. Let's say we found a defect. We found this defect because of what test case, and once we understand, okay, here is a test case, this test case is because of what requirement. So we all will be able to traceable each and everything, because at the end of it, you'll have number of test cases, and then you'll have number of requirements in a software, and then you'll find number of defects, and these test cases will have automation testing. So everything is traceable. Like if I know a defect, I know what test case is that caused it, And if I know the test case, I know which requirement for this I have created the test case. And if I know an automation, which test case is created this automation, and whether I found this through automation or whether I found this through manual testing. So everything can be traceable if you have a proper requirement traceability. So we're going to talk about the different types of testing tools that are available. Like one is test management tool, automation tool, functional automation tool, performance automation tools, and then we have like security point of view to help us the tools which are very specific to UI testing, tools that are related to API service level testing, tools related to the backend database related testing. So there are many different tools that are available. So we're not going to go through them practically. Those are like separate, but we're going to definitely get a complete picture of what are the different tools available and a clear overview of, like, when I say a load performance testing tool, what are the different tools available in the market, how we are going to perform the load and performance testing without being like, for example, if I have to test a web service or a website, whether it is sufficiently working for 1,000 people or 10,000 people, whether I really need 10,000 actual users, or how these performance tools are going to work. So those details we're going to understand, what kind of metrics it is going to generate, what kind of reports it is going to generate, how do we create a load testing scenario to perform those. Some of those details we are going to understand. And then how effectively you're going to use these tools, the potential benefits and risks. It's just not that, okay, there is a tool, I have to use it. Before you deciding on a tool, you will do a good amount of, you will do a lot of analysis on the different tools that are available in the market, what is suitable for our project, and you do very important, I mean, especially if you have to present this data to your lead or your management team, you calculate the return on investment, whether we should really invest on this tool or not. So that kind of return on investment calculation, you will be able to make it, and you are going to make a very expert decision to your management team saying that we should do this or we should not do this. So that's the kind of level you are going to attain. So effective usage of the tool, potential benefits and risks, and then how you're going to introduce a tool to an organization. So this is what I'm talking about. So you provide the recommendations to your organizations that we should use this tool or should not use this tool. Or even if somebody strongly says that we should use this tool, you'll at least have a counterpoint why we should not do that, because all the data points you gather based on the knowledge and experience that you have, which you're going to present it to your management team. So these are some of the, this is the kind of course content. We'll go through like how many hours we have to spend on each one of these, and then that will add up to the total. So this is for the advanced. If somebody wants to go for advanced later, here is the overall syllabus, and even to an expert level, uh, the whole syllabus that is available here. So we are going to restrict ourselves right now to the foundational level, and that's where the overall syllabus that I've just explained. Cool. So what I'll do is, as part of the first orientation session today, we'll take it up to here. Then probably tomorrow I'll introduce to the complete examination pattern, the number of questions, and we generally call them as K1, K2, K3 question type of questions. So what does that mean by, so like if I have just to give you an idea, they're going to be typically like, if you're going to take the exam in foundational level, you'll get 40 questions. And there are two variation types of exams, like you can take it in English and you can take it in like your own. There are people who take it even in like Japanese, Chinese, French. So for them, they will get like 75 minutes. So the amount of time that is available is that. So we'll get about 40 questions and you'll get about 60 minutes. So that's the exam duration. And this is what I'm talking about. We're going to go through more details about what is this K1, K2, K3, K4, K5, K6 type of questions also, which are from an expert level. It's not there for basic level, obviously. So the minimum criteria that we should get is like 65 percentage. So if we get 65 percentage of the 40, then you will get the certification. Otherwise, it's not. But again, I'm telling you the kind of training, the kind of details that we're going to go through over here. If you can allocate just 2 hours of your time for the next 45 days, I can challenge, or I can, this is what I'm like to challenge myself, that it's 100% possible to achieve the certification. Cool. So these are few of the details from the orientation point of view. So any questions from your side? This team has any questions? Like continents wise and kind of countries wise, how many people have achieved the certification? All right, then. So if there are no questions, yeah, I kind of assume because been through this training program for almost 3 years now, so kind of covered it off. What are the most common questions that you will get it? So let's meet tomorrow as a continuous another orientation session to cover up more details and to get any questions that you may have, like get it clarified. And then we're planning to start these detailed sessions as early as like next week onwards itself. So we have to spend around 28 sessions on this. I'll give you in terms of minutes as well, how many minutes that we have to spend. We'll go through all those details tomorrow. And yeah, but as I told you, just like park 2 hours of your time, 1 hour for one and a half hour for the training, another half an hour for your exercises. That should be sufficient. All right. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow for the second orientation session.